All right, class, this video is going to cover how to sew a zipper into a seam. You're going to need 2 sample pieces of muslin for this. They are 4 inches by 11 inches long. You're going to need a 7-inch zipper, a ruler, some pins, some snips, and a pencil. Now, the first thing you need to do is to know how long to make this, how long the zipper is and where to mark your fabric. So what I want you to do is take your zipper and just lay it on your fabric and see about how long it is, right? You want to match up one end with the raw edge of the fabric, and you want to sew your zipper down to what we call the zipper stop. We have 2 sets of stops up here. One set of stops is up here on the top of the zipper. They prevent the zipper from going past that point. The other stop is the big one here at the bottom that prevents you from unzipping the zipper all the way. So for this, you need a mark to let you know where your zipper is going to end. I like to line it up just above my zipper stop or parallel with it if that helps you. So my line's right there, my stop's right there, I'm going to make a line right here. That lets me know where to sew this sample. So now that I have a mark, the first step to this is to take both your sample pieces, line up one edge, the edge at the top of your zipper specifically. So I've got that lined up on that edge and I'm lining it up on this edge, and I'm going to sew a 1-inch wide seam from here, parallel with this mark, down to this end. You're going to backstitch at both ends. Why do we only do this portion? Because this part is going to contain the zipper and needs to be left open so we can sew the zipper in so that when it zips and unzips, it will open. I'm going to go to the machine and sew this. We're just going to sew from here to here at 1 inch. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I've sewn from my notch down to the end of my piece. Let me move this extra stuff out of the way. And what we are going to do now is press our seam open. Now normally, whoops, sorry about that. Normally we would just take this and lay it out and press our seam open, right? Well, we're gonna take part of that. What I want you to do though is press one side at 1 inch, which is what you got marked, and press that all the way down at 1 inch, all the way up, leaving this side unpressed. And we're gonna press the other side at something different. Now conveniently, I have a little 1-inch wide ruler, but you should get a ruler and measure yourself a 1 inch all the way up. Get that out of the way. That's all looking pretty good, like a nice solid inch all the way up there. Something else you can do, since this muslin is crisp, you can kind of press that 1 inch in and just give yourself a nice marker. But what I'm gonna do is use the iron to press right up to where my stitching starts or ends. See how that's right there? And then I'm gonna press only this side and get that 1 inch side pressed down. Now, what I've got is this side pressed down at 1 inch. Do we all see that? Now over here, you're gonna wanna press this. If I pressed it just like that, that'd be at 1 inch. I wanna cheat it just a little bit. I wanna cheat this over about 1/8 of an inch. So this should be 7/8 of an inch seam allowance, or maybe even close to 3/4. But it needs to be not quite that full inch. I'm gonna press that down just like this. So if you look through, you can see this little highlight here. Maybe. See, you can kind of see how this creates an overlap. If we look at it from this side, you can definitely see that overlap. See how that looks? And if I peel that back, you see how we're overlapping just a little? This piece is overlapping this piece. That's what you want to set your zipper. All right, so from there, we are going to pin this zipper in place to get ready to sew it. Now that you've got everything pressed like you like, you're gonna take this zipper and we're gonna apply it to this side. This is our underlap side, and that's the first side we're gonna sew. See how that lines up right there? I'm gonna line up my top edge with the top edge of my zipper. Slide that into frame there for you. I'm lining up this top edge, and I am setting this edge really close to the zipper teeth, but it's not quite all the way there. Zoom in a little bit for you. See how closely I'm setting that? Now we got to pin this in place. This is a little tricky because your pins can't cross over the zipper teeth. Otherwise, this machine won't sew over it nicely. What I like to do is go into the fabric and pick up the zipper, and you might have to hold your zipper in place and come out like that. See how I'm actually pinned through the fabric and the zipper underneath there, but I'm not crossing over the teeth because the machine foot has to come down this way, and if it has to jump over long pins, it won't do it well. So we want to pin all this in place. Let's slide down so you can see a little more. I like to pin every inch or so. You need to definitely make sure you're catching the zipper when you're doing this though. And as you're pinning it, make sure you're not pulling away from the zipper teeth. But on the back side, I've got just a little bit. See that little catch where I'm catching the zipper? That's what you want. So we're going to pin all this in place. Move it close to the camera, you can see better maybe. Now if you want to do this holding it like this, you can. I prefer it laying flat, but whatever works to get everything pinned in place. Now, something you're going to encounter is the zipper pull will get in your way. As you sew. Some people like to move the zipper pull when they sew, and they'll start sewing here and they'll sew down, and then they'll keep their needle in place and lift the presser foot and zip the zipper back past where they're sewing and continue on. That's something you can try. It's a little advanced, but it does help. I like to zip it out of the way so I can get everything pinned well too. The last part. Oh God. Okay. All right. Now this is all pinned. And what I'm going to do is take this over to the machine and sew. Do some edge stitching like we've done before. Right on this edge. Right about there. You want it really close to the edge of your fabric, and you go all the way down. You back stitch and you sew all the way down to right here. You can also put a pin right here in the bottom just to make sure everything's in place. All right, I'm gonna go to the machine and sew this. All right, I'm here at the machine and I'm ready to sew this, except this presser foot is not what you want to use. For sewing zippers, we like to use something called a zipper foot. And on these Pfaff machines, it is the foot number 4, if you can read that number. See that 4 there? And it snaps into place on the machine. Now to remove one foot, you just push down on both sides of it. It will pop out. You did not break the machine. To put the zipper foot in place, this bar clicks into place where that was. There's little connectors here. You kind of line it up and lower your presser foot. And now you have to pick one side or the other. See how that's sitting off to that side? If I attach it another way, it'll sit off to the other side. This is what we want for a zipper, because as you might guess, zippers have bulk that gets in our way. We can't sew right over those teeth or that zipper pull, so we've got to make sure our zipper foot is sitting off to the side. This is not the orientation we want. We want our zipper foot on the other side so we can sew right here. So I'm going to take the zipper foot back off. We're going to affix it to this side And now you should be able to see how that will allow me to sew right next to these zipper teeth. One thing else you need to do is adjust your needle position. See how my needle is moving over? You want to move it over to the edge. Walk it down and see if I could zoom in there. It's going to line up right with the edge of my fabric there. That's what we want. So I'm in pretty good shape. I might dial it back one notch, and I want to start up here at the top. Again, the closer you are to the edge, the more problems your machine may give you, so scooch in a little bit. And if you have to backstitch more, then backstitch more, but we do backstitch on this. So here we go, I'm gonna sew it. Take a couple of back stitches. All right, now, as you go, your pins are gonna wanna torque and move things. You gotta control these a little bit. Because what you want is a nice clean line right on the edge of this fabric. See how that zipper foot is allowing us to be right next to the teeth? You gotta make sure you're staying on the muslin the whole time. Now, I'm coming up to that zipper pull, and it's gonna get in my way a little bit. I like to leave my needle in the fabric here, lift up, and gently zip my zipper pull out of my way. Lower my presser foot again, and then you continue sewing. I'm almost to the bottom. I'm gonna be really careful and go really slow and get right where I wanna get. Now I'm gonna backstitch a couple stitches, and again. Now that side is finished, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. See how nicely that line sits right on the edge? That's what you're going for, because this is what's called the underlap side. Let me pull the pins out, and I'll show you that lapping again. Remember how we pressed it so our seam allowances were a little different? That's why right there. See how it covers up our stitches and everything? Pretty great. In the next video, I'll show you how to do the other side.